should have seen that one coming.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Complexities turn to pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Dazzle!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dark Seer.
Complexities turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. Complexities turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Right then, let's get back into this, shall we? Game number 2, EnemyGG against Complexity, and game number 1 was not happy times for BSJ and his slug, not happy times for EnemyGG, but Complexity definitely asserting their dominance. No wildcat peeing all over the place because there was just no room for EnemyGG to farm or do anything in that game. On my screen, an interesting start to the draft. I mean, EnemyGG start off with what Complexity had last game, Darkseid Dazzle opener. But my co-caster Moppax, what do you think about Complexity's opening 1-2?
Well, it's kind of funny. I did a little bit. I stayed up a bit on Complexity like a lot in the past and stuff like that. And one of the things is that they love IO. It was one of their bigger picks, like even going to TI and everything like that. A hero that they'd shown good success with. But all time they've had 22 IO picks, and only ever twice have they actually paired it up with the Tiny. Not really something they've ever prioritized. They would often just pick IO in the first phase, along with maybe an offlaner or something like that, and then moving on forward. Teams would obviously ban out the Tiny, but it wasn't, I don't think, a concern for them. Like, they were always looking for something a little bit different, maybe just like IO, even Undying, in sense of like a support duo that's going to just wreck a lane, and then any of those other like Svens or something like that, they don't really care. Oh, I'm interested to see why they're picking up so early now. Maybe it's because of the big shift in the roster and everything like that, right? Maybe some more competent heroes, or rather like hero-player pairings. So yeah, always scary, but I already like the EnemyGG draft opener a lot better. Getting the Dazzle, Darkseer, two heroes that are the two of the most picked heroes right now for complexity as well. So not only are you taking those away, but they're both very solid right now.
I mean, okay, Queen of Pain and TA are both banned out. They can't have an identical draft of complexity last game, but trying their hardest. 3 heroes that coL had, 5. Now, with complexity, you know, we look back at them historically, and the Wisp tiny stats behind that. But obviously, NIP, Hanskin,
of course,
and Limp with Chessie, kinda, you know, you're sort of coaching, standing in, doing a little bit of this and that for them. They love Tiny Wisp, absolutely loved it. A big part of that was obviously Era and his Tiny, historically one of the best. You know, he brought around the Tiny Wisp back in the day. At least definitely made it quite popular with the amount he played and picked it up.
That's a little bit of an understatement, I'd say.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
you know,
no,
the thing
yeah,
is,
destroyed.
you know, you make sort of when you make sweeping statements, it's always difficult to sort of qualify and quantify it and say, you know, this guy was the first, he was the best, and he was very good at his craft. He was very good with the Tiny Wisp combat. But there are obviously a lot of other players that do love and have loved it in the past. But Era was Don't tell anyone, but he was the best.
Well, I mean, we all know it's like one of the most common pairings in terms of IO, and obviously plus Tiny, and then the win rate was insane. It's always been hovering around 60 to 70% over the past couple of patches. And but yeah, no, it's really nice to see that with a change in roster, you're gonna get these guys who've had so much experience working with it in the past, and they can kind of mimic that, even if they weren't necessarily playing the Tiny IO. Then they have a way more experience than the previous lineup of. Obviously, Fly, I guess, wasn't quite enough in order to bring back the old days of that Fnatic IO Tiny. But well, moving forward, other than that, this is that crucial stage. Like, you can see they're taking a long time where they want to go, like, do we want a Spirit Breaker or something? Do we kind of want to work with this global strategy? Or do we want to push? And that's Jakiro. So burn those towers down.
I mean, if Toby was casting this instead of me, he'd need new pants, because he really has a hard-on for Jakiro. He bloody loves the hero for some reason. Quite sure. Maybe it's because it has 2 heads or something. Really likes it, and he plays it non-stop, and sometimes it irritates me how much he talks about Jakiro, but I've been told by a couple of people now that Sovereign is an Earth Spirit picker / spammer / account guy with not account guy, MMR spammer, boosting himself up to 6-7k with Earth Spirit, but no Earth Spirit for him in either of these games so far.
I think it was 7.1, yeah. I mean, there's a big change to the hero these days, and Lumdum, even back in the day, was one of those spammers as well, if I do recall. That was way back. That was like 2014 Earth Spirit, though. So, much different since then.
5 seconds remaining.
But either way, they're going to have the BSJ Bear this time, the Ursa. And hopefully on another one of his signature heroes. Something he's been known to play in numerous games. They'll have a little bit more success, but again, he kind of offers a lot of the same stuff to a lane as a Slark, you know what I mean? Even less control, but of course, a lot more burst.
This is Brew going. I mean, I think Tiny Wisp head towards mid and you have like a safe lane Brew potentially. Oh, looking at this, with the Ursa. The fact that he doesn't necessarily want to go BKB as one of his primary items, you want like Phase Boots, Morbid Mask, get a Blink or a Shadow Blade into Abyssal or Hex, something like that for your lockdown. Brewmaster with Haze, plus Brawler, plus, the Cyclone and stuff like that from his ultimate. So much kiting potential here. If you're relying heavily on the Ursa to give you that sort of mid-game physical damage focus and the initiation tools from Tusk and Darks here, Brewmaster can really help to all of your game plans. You shut down one hero, and that is a linchpin hero there is the Ursa, because he needs to jump in with Iron Shell on him, get onto a target, and bring down someone like the Tiny.
And they always do Chassis Brewmaster, at least so far. Always been Chassis, so I think that's probably what we'll see, is probably just like safe lane Brewmaster. Of course, they could mix up depending if they really see something they don't like in the mid lane, but obviously IO Tiny, fairly dominant when it comes to that. And that does mean that we're not going to be having, by the looks of it at least, I don't think it's going to be off-lane Jakiro. I mean, it seems unlikely. Like, usually you want kind of a dual lane. I don't think they're going to solo safe lane the Brewmaster. But we'll see. I mean, teams have done it in the past, so quite a few options. And just like I was saying, unless they see something they really don't want in the middle lane, the Bristleback probably the first hero that does come to mind in terms of dealing with the IO Tiny duo. So they'll ban that out, and things get a little bit more interesting here for EnemyGG.
Yeah, that Dazzle Bristle lane that we saw Empire run time and time again. This was back when Vega were kind of on the brink of being a
5
tier 1 team,
seconds
when they just
remaining.
ran Tiny Wisp non-stop. It was like their go-to thing. Well, I sort of devised this bristleback
time.
dazzle dual lane mid to really handle it very well, so I
10
think that's a
seconds
really good ban
remaining.
and good shout. Thanks, the bristleback could have worked pretty nicely here. Now,
5 seconds
EnemyGG,
remaining.
what have we got left? Lina towards the mid lane. Long range, can
Complexity's turn
kind
to
of get
pick.
some last hits and get into, still stay in experience range on the mid lane. Some help though. I think Dazzle's going to have his work cut out for him moving from top to mid. Complexity, you mentioned Jakiro potentially being off lane. And with that base damage increase he's got, if he goes like boots first, he can, honestly, he can trade hits with a Dazzle. Ursa needs boots to actually catch up to him and do anything that Jakiro. But we could even see like a dual lane,
10
aggressive dual lane
seconds
here.
remaining.
The scary thing is the Brewmaster against like Darkseer Tusk. I think that's what they've
5
really got to pay
seconds
attention
remaining.
to. Is how kind of cut off do we want the Brewmaster here? Do we want a dedicated support,
Reserve time.
guaranteeing farm and lane experience for him? Shove the Jakiro down there? Then maybe have like an Undying, something up on the top lane. Even though Ursa is pretty good with the old Hot Claws,
10 seconds
Ursa,
remaining.
and then with Tombstone, still things like Decay against these strength heroes.
5
Soul Rip keeping
seconds
people
remaining.
alive. Ogre.
Similar idea, but
Oh, yeah.
man, so much control from Complexity against poor BSJ. Hey, talking about not wanting, I was kind of thinking like maybe they're gonna shove out an Omni Knight or something over here to the side of EnemyGG, because I don't know what he is gonna do. Like there are gonna be ice paths he has to dodge, he has to deal with all the evasion from the Brewmaster, and then of course the 3 spirits are a disaster for someone like Ursa who just want to get in there and completely unhindered. And Shallow Grave's great and everything, but it doesn't add to movement speed, and it can't, it can't take away stuns or anything like that, like an Abaddon. So I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on BSJ again, and we saw it did not work out with the Slark whatsoever in the game before. And so here's to hoping that they're going to get a little bit better and a little bit more out of their laning phase this time.
Well, this time around, they have that Tusk Darkseer dual off lane. Like it's going to be Chessie here alone for now as aggressive dual lane. The brothers, again, they're pairing up very nicely. Swindles and Z-Freak head up to top. Liquid Fire, Dual Breath, Ignite, plus Fire Blast. They've ways of not only trading hits with Dazzle, but also at the same time forcing BSJ away from that creep wave and stopping getting last hits. Mid, Slayer on the Lina. Not going to be easy. Going to be easy at all as Hanskin's Wisp limp on the Tiny. Swedes will pair up
30
and
seconds
some of the
to
lane. Chessie's Brewmaster, double mango. Him actually, double mango brew. Get some more claps out. HP regen is great,
Yeah,
obviously.
he
against
needs
this
it
Iron
so
Shell.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the harder matchups, honestly, for Brew in terms of the solo safe lane. Like, he doesn't really have anything that deals with the Iron Shell that well. I mean, yeah, you can get crit or something like that, but you can't really spam out Thunderclap all too well. And so I'll be interested to see how Chessie's able to handle this. I don't know if maybe he might look for an early rotation to try and kill Sovereign, but like if this Tusk is going to stay here, he's in a little bit of trouble.
It's going to be a rough one. Now Lina is just going all out with the regen. Sends another salve out, Fairy Fire, Pool Tangos, Clarity. Just needs a way to stay in lane against like this Avalanche Toss combination. Han's going to limp hit level 2, level 3. That's where the pressure really starts to get piled up. And what are we seeing here from Frozen? Ice Shards? Look the full wave in here actually. Does he have a... Oh, he doesn't have he doesn't have a branch. That's something we were kind of talking about when we did like our patch analysis, was just like having a branch to do this and then you could walk onto lane. But it is, you know, a decent chunk of early expenditure that's not necessarily needed. With the dual lane off lane, Frozen Sovereign against Chessie down here, mid. Where is the little old wisp? We got the bounty rune, it looks like. Oh no, it didn't. Where didn't? I got the bounty rune. So he's gonna get the relatively early bottle here, Boots as well. So Limp Boots gonna be able to chase Slayer and then toss him back onto the creep. Tower hits come in, the slow from that tether as well, and now they just need a few punches. There's no LSA. Slayer has the Fairy Fire. Right click attack coming from Hanskin though, and this, ooh, the salve. Slayer keeps himself alive just barely, but he burns through all of his regen and buys another salve for himself. Rough old time for him.
BSJ, he's getting hurt.
Oh, for
Now
sure.
he's going to have the dual breath and the liquid fire up, so he's just going to be burning himself down. He's going to have the tango, going to have the salve.
Look at the
Loom,
dazzle
a little bit harassed though. Yeah, the big beefy man. The walking tango, as they call him these days. Non-stop regen.
What does HP regen now? It's like 4.2 base?
I don't even know. I've seen so many double and triple mangoes, I don't even remember what the base rate is anymore. I just keep getting 7.6 or whatever coming to my lane. That's what it feels like every time I see it.
8 armor,
Magi, so.
8 armor, 700 HP, and like 8 HP regen a second as well. It's honestly insane. Come on. Some damage, you freak. I want to see your HP.
No, we're never gonna see it because they're not gonna bother. Like, what's the point of even right-clicking him?
Don't touch
Like,
him.
it's just like a waste.
Poke the. it's the custom game. Poke the angry ogre. I don't know if you ever played that in Dota 1.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The little children running around, poke the angry ogre, and it doesn't do a bloody thing. It's just gonna slam you down with his big club. 4.3 is his base HP regen. I was far off. Well, mid rotation, frozen with a tusk. But how do they kill here? They look for Hanskin, that's fair enough. They've probably got the damage with level 2 Dragon Slave, Snowball into start. Bypassing Limp's Tiny, that's the difficult part.
He was doing a very good job down here with the creep management, and since they've now moved off Frozen as well, like, I don't know, I feel like they should be applying more pressure to Chessie down bottom. Because, like you said, what is really the hope in the mid lane? Are you going to be able to get this? It feels like it's nearly impossible.
You look at the offlane Jakiro, outlast hitting everyone as well. Like, BSJ honestly has done a good job getting as many as he has up on his top, 13 and 1. The Lena's been completely destroyed mid. More assets in there, but boots first, no bottle yet for this Lena, so the spam out of Dragon Slave is just not going to be available. So Frozen smokes up and moves top towards top. They need to make something happen here. Swindles does take a couple of tower hits there. And the fact he's running out of regen, running out of life, the snowball forward with the ice shot as well. They trap him in, but the stun onto BSJ. Swindles gets clapped. He's slowed a little bit here, but they don't have the movement speed to get him. Frozen will chase him down, and they turn onto Zephyrix as well. They might get both kills here, as BSJ good target focus on the Ogre. And the last there, and he's just going to keep on going for this. He's got a clap in a couple of seconds, but the snowball forward will pick them all up and get another kill. 2 down on this dual lane from Complexity, but I feel the damage is already done.
It was definitely, I mean, they needed it, right? Like, a little bit of a rebound here. He's still going to be behind them in terms of the net worth, at least when it comes to Swindles on the Jakiro, but, I mean, you got to be happy with that. That level 1 Earthshock, man. 4 seconds of slow. Right at level 1, pretty nice. Only 25%, but you saw it do a lot of work there twice in that fight. And now 1200 gold, he can run for like phase boots, or he'll get himself a stick as well to help deal with all the aggression. And it's very similar to what we saw previously with the Darkseer Tusk. Just 2 different heroes going to be dealing it out this time. We're just not seeing the same thing here from Enemy, because they can't commit it without sacrificing their top lane so hard. But Frozen's going to try and make another play bottom, and Chessie does have to be careful here. Closing in on level 6.
Double Mango, but he doesn't want to pop these just yet, and he needs the HP regen to get himself back up. Oh, okay. Never mind. Bottle arrives, that's where his gold went. Get himself to level 6. The last hits in under that tower. Limp has been left alone a fair amount towards mid. Hanskin is focusing very heavily. Stacking up these camps. Yeah, just about. Stack up on that one. But
Speaking of Slayer, mid lane.
oh, is he in trouble? You're right. Limp will get the kill with the help of Hanskin. Well, Hanskin will get the kill with the help of Limp. The damage output of Tiny.
Split bottom.
Not quite enough. Yeah, Frozen.
They're on
being
top,
chased
Frozen.
out. The damage from the little Storm Panda. Stun as well, and Frozen.
Oh, it's going to be close.
No snowball. Damage output is there, and they've got the Cyclone onto the Darkseer as well. Meanwhile, up at top, there's action across every single lane, honestly. I look mid, there's damage being done. Zephyrix chased out, and with the wipes out from BSJ, he's got his face boots, and another clap comes through, so Zephyrix surely dead unless Limp comes in to save him.
Yeah.
Avalanche with the toss, and that Ursa takes so much damage, no ult available. It finished him off, and Zephyrix is Slayer gets blasted in there. Loomdon on the run out though, and Limp barely stunned on the edge of that life strike. Very good shard.
Oh, this could be big.
Onto the snowball, but Slayer, he's going to get a bunch here. Limp is going to fall straight after the Wisp has, and NME finally getting something out of these engagements.
1200 gold swing from that team fight. Obviously, BSJ, he's going to miss out. But 730 gold, unfortunately, to the Dazzle. Both your Tusk and your Lena pick up around 300.
That's Arcanes for the Dazzle if he wants it. There's Arcanes for the Tusk, in fact, as well. Port's getting decently rich. Actually, an earn out for the Dazzle. BSJ, if he was level 6 there, I could see that fight going so well for EnemyGG. Get like a 4-0 sweep or something like that.
Oh, they did just snag up Slayer. I mean, it just happens instantaneously. What can you do? He's coming into Avalanche range, though, and obviously it's hard to avoid. because of the tether, like immediately boosting the move speed, and you feel like, oh well, how's that fair? Like I felt like I was safe, but you just have to be so cautious against it. And honestly, I'm surprised Chessie doesn't have a lane ward up here. And in fact, right where he pinged, I wonder if that's what he's asking for, because they're definitely going to be looking to make some rotations here, and at least his ultimate will probably be available by that time, but he needs to stay alive. He's already got the 1 kill. Just keep yourself rolling down here. And don't die like your other lanes there. Come on now.
They need to get level 6 up on Hanskin relatively soon, because that's when
That's what the stacks are for.
Oh, you're right, that stack hasn't been taken yet. Well, that'll get into it. Very close, in fact, Limp. Play that out pretty nicely. Up at top, this is where I really keep flicking back to and what to focus on. BSJ is still lacking in the net worth, and they'll try and go in onto Swindles here with a clap forward. Damage output hasn't really started yet. Look at this freaking control from Z-Freak and Swindles. They get the snowball into the shards, but the relocate comes through. Swindles barely dies there, but Avalanche after the toss. And BSJ is dead. Loom done. You've got a Grave, you've got a heal as well, but you're just going to start getting ticked out. The Grave, oh, there we go. Slayer with a Laguna Blade. Kills off the Wisp. Perfect rotation in. Climbing. Loomdon doesn't even die. I wonder. Continue going forward? Well, Flexi decides that for them. Throw the Ogre onto the little Tusk and get the kill on that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Unfortunately, BSJ lost the enrage buff within about like a 10th of a second into that toss avalanche combo, so immediately blown up there. I thought he was going to be able to tank through that one, but...
Oh, Sovereign. He doesn't know what's coming in from the side. Chessie pops his ultimate just in time. The Surge hasn't been used yet. Throws the stun. And with the damage output from this Jakiro Sovereign, he can Surge now, but the Cyclone... Cyclone? Cyclone?
Well, two spells. Oh, he's got him though.
In the air, but BSJ's here. They miss out on a relatively simple kill.
Big error there. Maybe thinking that there was an ice path that he wasn't aware was killed or something like that. Not sure if there's a little bit of mist there, but yeah, that's big. I mean, that's level 1 split, right? So it's gonna be the full 140 seconds.
Maybe it was a bit of lag, a bit of DDoS. Definitely what's happening. Chessie can just
probably just reborn.
Oh, Z-Freak gets some time to farm up at the top. Get level 6. No, Ogre's level 6. It's not amazing. It's pretty good. It's decent. I think the spread on Ignite. Yeah, he's gone for level 3 Ignite. Spread on that, the sort of splash out projectiles is going to be a little more useful than the damage output from Fire Blast. Middle lane. Limp. Playing aggressively into BSJ, but Frozen as well as Slayer. Both available, and a very defensive relocate actually. Realizing the predicament that they could have been in. EnemyGG had gone forward. Just playing it safe there.
Alright then. That was a little bit odd, but of course, can never be really too safe. And well, it looks like Sovereign will have a little bit to say on his own here as well. He is getting close to his own mechanism. Not too shabby. 49 CS, of course, now up to 50. Just one behind in the chart. Tiny.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I don't think I've ever seen a Ring of Aquila Ursa. Like, it seems good.
Just BSJ things.
I've never seen it before.
I think he just buys on every hero.
That's the thing, like, I'm a pretty big fan of safe lane Aquila on almost any hero, as Limp gets they don't have relocate to save him, but do they even need it? Laguna Blade doesn't finish him off, and Limp just turns and continues fighting. Loomdun's here, ready with a heal in the grave, but look at the freaking movement speed! Tiny! The little rock running straight forward. Chessie doesn't have his ultimate ready for 6 seconds time, but the toss of the Hanskin throws him into the danger zone, and they clear up Chessie's Brewmaster. No splits available. And this Dazzle is dominating.
Shadow Wave must have done, I don't even know how much damage. That was pretty brutal. And yeah, just a little bit too hyper-aggressive. Obviously, Limp just feeling a little bit too good after tanking up that gank attempt there. And I mean, who was trapped in with who in that situation?
Indeed. So the mech you were mentioning, Doxy has done that one up. Finished. Slayer, on the other hand, what are we looking at? Arcane to Bloodstone, you're going to go straight into the Yule Scepter. What do you reckon on Alina at this stage? It's 11 minutes in. Like, perfect timing for Alina. You sort of want that 12-minute Yule Scepter, maybe after Treads or Phase, and really start running around, getting these kills. At this point, you know, Yule Scepter, you've got a decent amount of gold, you can still go for that. Is that what you want to aim for?
I don't know, you can get a nice little cash infusion if they want to do the smoke up now with BSJ, because he does have the Morbid Mask. So I don't know if you want to aim a little bit higher, possibly. but what is the higher tier item? Like, obviously Shadow Blade and all that stuff, not too fantastic without the Yules itself. And okay, so Slayer heads top, and BSJ is gonna head down to the Roshan pit. It looks like. I don't know. Yules is good. I don't know about Bloodstone anymore. I've seen it. Feudliness still do it as Swindles gets rolled on.
Oh, Swindles. Not quite gonna die as the relocate comes in, stunned up with the LSA, but Swindles misses out on the ice path. He's still gonna survive through it all though. Lina dead. The Tusk drops straight after, and this should turn into a tier 1 up at top. In the meantime, though, NMEGG, they give up the Lina and the Tusk. They will at least get this Roshan though, as BSJ is in the pit. Don't think that Complexity have any real recourse or any way to stop them.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, there won't be time to do it without the relocate available. And so they'll give themselves a win over here for Enemy. Not sure if it's worth giving up 2 heroes, but of course, we all know how badly the Ursa seems to need the Aegis every single time. Ensure that he's going to have himself a good game, but he's still going to be very cautious with that Blink Dagger now out for Limp. I love this. I honestly think Blink and Tiny is still core, even if you have the IO. As you can just see, because you can do that. Like, okay, let me just see how much gold I just get. Oh, 240 gold. Well, there's 1/10 of my Blink Dagger already completed, so it just seems so good to me compared to drums.
I barely caught that. I was like, Tiny Blink, where? Jump over to him and he's like, oh right, he just killed someone straight away. And that gold is going. So Loomdun 403 on the Dazzle. Okay, you've got Earn a Medallion. This is not where you want your net worth to be sitting right now. You want a Blink on your Ursa. You want your Lina to have a Yule Scepter done. She has a point booster. And now she's dead. Almost dead. One more punch. One more punch. Limp finishes her off. So point booster on Lina. Is this going to be an Axe Rush? Is it Bloodstone? What do you reckon?
Bottom tower is under attack.
It seems a little bit early to go Agnum, so I would have to guess into the Bloodstone. I'm not sure if I like it though.
Usually with the Bloodstone we see like Arcane Soul Ring.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she would have had the Arcanes first in that case. Oh well, who knows? There's no time. Is she gonna be able to buy anything anyway?
Limp jumps in. Loomdun's dead. He got the Grave off on the Tusk beforehand, but that's a big streak going to your Tiny. As Complexity just clear up one after the other. Cyclone onto Ursa, held inside Macroplier as well as he's chased down. And my goodness, you mentioned control during the draft, just look at it! Stunned, slowly, kiting, BSG's still alive somehow, turns the fight, got the Aegis as well, remember, as Laguna Blade nearly takes down Z-Freak, but he's an ogre, he's tanky, he's got magic stick charges, and now maybe could turn to kill, but the swipes out from the little teddy bear will finish him off. Still a good trade though from Complexity, as they're looking for more.
Well, that was a big win. BSJ able to turn that around with the help of your Lina there, so Slayer playing save the day there. And now what can they get off the back of this though? Like, I mean, the Ogre's gonna be back up. They all regen so fast because of this IO, and you got an Arcane Rune on Brewmaster. That is a fun rune. Oh, it's so good with your ultimate. It's actually incredible.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
BSJ has gone for Helm of the Dominator. I don't know this.
Well, is Blink gonna help his movement really? Like, if he blinks into these fights instead, yeah, maybe the stuns, they do have a little bit long on the cast time from the Jakiro and the Ogre Magi, but at the same time, if he just get Avalanche, then it feels like the Blink just does nothing anyway. And I can kind of understand where he's feeling like maybe he just needs to rely on his teammate to provide the control. So like maybe Slayer or possibly even Frozen. Hope that they can take care of that, because if he is to buy a Blink Dagger, I don't know, like it won't speed up his farming really. And oh my god, this is just devastating. Limp just comes in, does his thing, and okay, see, they might be able to get Handskin for this, and they will.
Okay, I got something from. But it's
I'd like to see like a Yasha or something.
He's not got his ultimate, and it looks like he will die to the Iron Shells coming out. It's usually though like the Blink Aegis timing, and he could have had Blue plus Aegis and just jumped in to try and fight. But,
yeah, similar to TA last game.
I definitely see the kind of thought behind it. Go for a little more farm, stuff up with the armor and stuff you get from that. Does he have a creep out on the map though? That's the big question for me. He hasn't actually dominated the creep, has he?
I don't see one. Oh wait, top lane. Is it that catapult?
Oh yeah, you're right. So he took a catapult. The split pushing Ursa. Exactly what we know him for.
Game, honestly. And there's a lot of smokes here.
Everybody's
ready.
switching into everyone. We're still yet to see where the Lena's going though with this point booster, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure she'll get anywhere. We're already seeing like Yule Scepter plus the makings of a Veil, I'm guessing, on this Jakiro. He's got himself Rubber the Magi straight up. I don't know what else it could be, potentially. Drums? Bad. But Veil is like the go-to item here for a Jakiro.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be the Veil. It's like, I would consider that to be pretty core on your off-lane Jakiro. Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, drums, kind of okay. If Limp didn't have them already, so I think it'll definitely be that Veil.
Now, BSJ has Aegis for like 20 seconds. No, less. He's like 10, 15 seconds. So it's go in now and see what happens, I think. He's just got to try and blink. He's blink, delivered now, jump onto Tiny. Limp is caught here a little bit, but the Avalanche is ready. They'll stun him after the shards, onto Limp, they toss him back, and this toss vacuum wall. They've caught Complexity inside, but the Macro Player turns it back around on them, and NME there being destroyed inside the fire. With the Cyclone onto one, the Ursa is just being kited and held in place. Blinks away outside the Cyclone. Actually, it's NME who are getting the better trade of this in the long run. Chessie very close to dying, and they blink back in. Now the trade not looking so hot. Good LSA from Slayer, but Complexity. Oh, yes, Jay actually gets Tiny, but he's put himself in the middle of three heroes here. Slayer still has the damage output, stuns up two, and BSJ keeps wanting to fight, but swindles with the Yule Scepter. Could turn with the nice path again. Now the stun, the damage, the long range right click from Slayer will kill off the Jakiro. As Chessie on the retreat, swinging back and forth, and now it's NME's turn. They've got the better trade overall after killing Tiny, killing the Ogre, and the buyback from Jakiro. Turn into a dieback as well.
Alright, I confess, I have no idea how this is working so well. Like, BSJ is just swinging through the Drunken Haze and everything like that, and he's still managing to get these kills. And I don't know, I thought mid-fight with the Liquid Fire, with the Ignite and everything all being focused on BSJ, you'd think it impossible that he'd get multiple blinks off, but he's been able to weave, get himself in and out of the fights, blink back in, and they take a massive battle that weren't even on kills all of a sudden.
Yeah, that re-engaged. Like, the fact BSJ jumped out of the Cyclone, and walked himself back in and blinked onto that Tiny again. All it took was that one overpower to kill off Tiny. No Craggy procs. I think that's something kind of sad for Limp.
Yeah, I actually checked. Did he not skill it? And I was like, oh no, he had it. Just nothing. No love. So that's just the game of Dota 2. Of course, you don't need too many hits on an Ursa Warrior to bring somebody down. And
like,
I don't know. Is this a Shadow Blade game? That's like BSJ gaming right there in a lot of cases. But I feel like maybe just like Yasha into something.
It was like NME winning, Complexity turned it around, NME turned it back around, Complexity turned it back around, and then it was just that sort of third wind for NME where they started diving behind that tier 1 mid. It was just absolutely amazing for them. Now they're looking at Greaves plus 1500 gold on Darkseer, so Blink isn't distant. But a good amount of farm on the Dazzle.
Yeah, the counter to the vacuum, like the relocate, of course, the blink vacuum is just so nice to have if Darkseer's anywhere in the vicinity. And BSJ did grab that Yasha, so he's gonna be extra fast running down Swindle's bot. Yule's in the Macro Fire.
But BSJ might be the one that's in trouble now. Swindle tries to TP. But the team was relocating in. Hanskin, where are you heading now? He's going to tether up in a second. He's the target. Will be able to jump back over to Tiny. And BSJ no longer has a form of initiation, but the shards will... No! Avalanche last second from Limp. Saves Hanskin and gets them both out of dodge.
Alright, nice. Game here. And that means BSJ, he will have himself... Oh, wait, what? Oh, he actually sold the Yasha and bought... He was in base with the Yasha, he must have immediately sold it, bought the Sanj, and then came bottom for that kill. That's kind of comical.
Interesting.
Alright then. So I guess he's going to be getting the SNY eventually.
There's your tiny Aghanim Scepter. Do with it though. And at this stage, well... yeah, hang on a second. I was about to say, at this stage in the last game, well, the game was over, but... oh my god. 5 minutes ago, or so, in the last game, you know, we were seeing Complexity take down all of the tier 2s and start pushing into enemy base. Right here, NME, they've still got a tier 1 standing, still got all their tier 2 standing. And the next Roshan that comes up in about a minute's time, if they can get their hands on that and put it onto BSJ again, which it looks like they want to go and get a pick off first, and then take control of this Roche pit, as long as they don't get scouted here. Chessie blinked, got his ultimate ready, but he's stunned up and actually controlled through it.
good spacing of the stuns there to make sure he wouldn't be able to get off the ultimate there, because it's so easy to turn those around. Like, if he gets off that primal split, the relocate comes, and you are in serious trouble. So, a lot of pressure on just even a small gank like that, but NME looking a lot better than the last game. We'll see if they can take this engagement as well.
Well, Dogs here heals himself up through the vacuum into the wall. He's graved up as well. And Complexity, 3 versus 5 pretty much up on here. So relocate saves the Tiny. Z-Freak, not getting out so easily. Vacuum wall expended, but as was the relocate out. Where did they go? Towards mid. Okay, so Tiny gets to continue farming. With Fossard. Another kill goes the way of BSJ. And now he's keeping that to bottom lane. Good ice path. Macropire there as well. And BSJ is looking to jump onto the Jakiro, but swindles. He didn't go into the juke spot to TP away further south.
He's a fast little dragon there with that Yasha, or the Yules. Oh, top lane.
Limper's going 1v2, yeah. Vacuum, not going to do too much, but the Laguna Blade nearly shreds the Tiny. Swindles is ready though with a 2-man ice path. They could maybe turn this with a toss forward. They'll look for the kill on the Sovereign. Blink claps, LSA stops him in his tracks. Slayer, slammed, killed, destroyed by the Tiny's big old branchy arm. And Sovereign, oh man. If you can surge away and blink out of this one, count your lucky stars.
Just insane amount of regen that you get thanks to that aura when you're dropping in those low percents. Up to 20%, yeah, 20 HP regen going on there. And of course there is the SNY, not a shock there.
And the second Roche. Smoke and mirrors mopbacks. Bite top, die top. Second time where they've given up a kill at top lane to get Aegis on his Ursa, which really is important. If they can kill off Z-Freak here, yep, snowball forward. Ice Path is good and maybe buys enough time for this Ogre to run away, but the damage output, Frozen, dying inside the fire, and Limp is ready here onto the Cyclone. They dispel it off in BFJ. Your Aegis is not going to last too long. Your ultimate's ready for the back into the 3-man wall. Aegis is gone, but Loondun, can you do anything here to save your teammates? Only the Ogre has died. Blink forward. BSJ, he's hungry, thirsty for blood, and he's going to get some. Swindles is just running himself out of that one, though. This little old teddy bear. Maybe he wants to fight against Hanskin and Limp, tethered up. Oh, Invis rune there, but Hanskin is shredded. BSJ tossed back onto the docks here. Other ice path. Catches the DS. Away from the rest of Complexity will save them, I think, for now at least. It's just never-ending, re-engagement after re-engagement. As these blink daggers are paying off for both sides.
Yeah, BSJ really showing off here on this bear, man. I mean, we all know, of course, it was said during the draft, it's one of his signature heroes, but 10, 2, and 6, feeling pretty good. Already got lots of gold stacked up, and he has purchased up the Ogre Club, so it looks like he's probably going into his BKB at this point. Likely to be anything else. I wasn't sure if he'd be going for like the, you know, he's sometimes looking at Abyssal. I've seen quite a few Diffusal Blades come up from him as well in various games, so I like the BKB though. I mean, obviously, talking about the control, it's finally time to try and deal with that. You don't have an Omni Knight or anything on your team, so 10 seconds coming out at about 20, 27, 28 minutes or something like that, it's going to be extremely devastating. I don't know what Complex you're going to do if you catch them off guard with it. Oh, Z-Freak, my friend, I'm sorry, you're dead. I was just thinking for a second there. Do you remember back in Dota 1 when Ursa was a ranged unit? I did not know that. I did not play very much Dota 1. So there were a couple of heroes. Doom was a melee unit, like he was an actual melee unit, but he had great, or he still does have greater range than all other melee units, like 325 or something, I can't remember the exact number. But Ursa was coded as a ranged unit. And, well, Gwendolyn's is dead down here, but when you had like lifesteal, you'd shoot out lifesteal projectiles, and you would be actually an actual range unit as Ursa, which is kind of insane. Because I think they coded Fury Swipes as like off of Searing Arrows, get that damage modifier out. But just imagine Dragon Lance on Ursa in Dota 2. Give that extra range, make Ursa even more ranged. That would be insane. The only possible thing let's go with that then.
Club.
Only.
Memories of Dota 1. Oh.
Do you think it would be okay if Dragonlance gave it to melee heroes as well? Do you think that'd be like way too overpowered?
Not as in give them projectiles, but give them more range.
Yeah, if you could actually like increase your range.
I think that would be perfectly fine. Like the fact they're screwing up with things like cast range and and cooldown spells. True. I honestly think there's nothing to it. Play. We had this big argument, like a debate, And we were doing patch analysis like Nahaz, Mad, and a few other guys. We were talking like Octarine Core, okay, cooldowns are one thing, but changing the cast range on stuff, or the actual length of spells, is insane. Absolutely insane, because in a game of Dota 2 where everything's like experience-based, okay, I can stand here, and you can't hit me from there.
Oh my god. Died so many times that because of freaking blink daggers. They're like blinking at us spots because they have Aether Lens, and I'm just like, how can you blink from there? I shouldn't be dead. Damn it, Ice Rock.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It adds a juicy little factor to it where you're like, hang on a second, I've got to really make sure I know what's going on when he's picking up this item. The element of surprise is added as well. It's a pretty nifty feature, but I think that's the case. Oh man, okay, Tusk dying once again, and Lumdun looks like he's being held in place as BSJ. Time to blink and run away. Lumdun pretty screwed. Wait, hang on a second, where did Lina go? Blinked away somewhere. Lumdun's dead, and over on the side, BSJ, he walked back in, cycloned up and stunned into oblivion. The Ursa's gone. NME lose 3, looking at 4. A Sovereign is being chased out with Drunken Haze. Hang on a second, Limp. Okay. I really think Drunken Haze should amplify Liquid Fire, by the way.
Just like the Sticky Napalm should do.
Yeah.
My immersion.
Immersion.
I gotta say, that fight, I don't know what happened. I don't know why BSJ went in, because the main issue was Sovereign was stuck down bottom farming a camp, and he had actually just blinked into the camp and that fight started. So there was no chance he can get in there with anything decent. And I thought, like, to TP the tower, I thought the call was just get the hell out. Because look, he was getting the hell out, Slayer got the hell out, and then suddenly BSJ hops back in. Like, I think that's a big lack of communication. Obviously breaking down here, and it might cost them extremely heavily.
Up, Jesse. Sticks around a little bit too long. Now, they were fighting through these wall illusions for a long-ass time. Limp didn't care, but I think Chessie might have a few words for him.
Well, that's certainly a pretty big win there for Enemy, actually. Being able to get that kill. 448 gold now stacked up. On top of your Lina, she's got her blink. She'll probably go Yules, I think, just for a little bit more control. Like, every hero that's removed, even if it's for 2.5 seconds here, it's going to make a big difference for BSJ. It's 2.5 seconds longer that he might not have to use BKB, or that he's going to roam completely freely. So I would be fully expecting that, unless he wants to go for something bigger. Like, he's already got those arcane boots that we did talk about earlier, so it might be heading into the Bloodstone next, or even possibly the Octarine Core.
I reckon I like the Octarine Core on Lina. What do you think?
Or Aether Lens.
Swindles goes for the blink. I was wondering, he saved up like 2200 gold. So Blink Yules, he's got Aether Lens for Lina. I really like that if you go for the Yules build, because it kind of resets her to the old school Lina with the damage output on Laguna Blade. It's range on it actually does Yules range greater than what it used to be, so it's a pretty massive buff on that. Don't go Yules or Hex. Not sure if I'm a big fan. Like, it's just like Blink Dagger plus what LSA for Dragon Slave. I guess it increases range on Laguna Blade as well. But with the Agham Scepter, get that same effect. Both teams looks like Enemy just want to kind of sit back, get themselves prepped for a good smoke gank somewhere, and keep these lanes pushed out. Because against the tiny Wisp, you know that this big rock man is going to start absolutely dominating your tier 3s in a second.
Oh, mid lane there, you're going to get Chessie again. Is that, like, what has changed so much from the last game to this game? Is it just the fact that they have this massive amount of bursts? Like, you've got ESJ rocking here on the Ursa, you've got the Laguna Blade and everything, and it's easier for Enemy to punish these slight mistakes from Complexity. Like, last game, they got run over. Like, Complexity looked flawless, they had so much farm, they had the early mech, they just grouped up and pushed, and maybe this is a less comfortable style, it seems, like having to work around the timings of the relocate and the Brewmaster split as well, because we all know that Complexity, we're pretty well known for running at you with full aggression, so
I think it's
perhaps just getting them off their game.
I think it's the fact that in the previous game, their main initiation tool was like a Spirit Breaker, and then they kind of wanted to pile on top of that hero with the damage, but in this game, it's the Tusk. Tusk brings everyone in, drags them forward, and they know, you know, through hell and high water that if they're going in, they're going in. So they've got to make it work for themselves, and I think that kind of pressure has worked out really well for Enemy. If Frozen sees a target and the call is to go in, they stick to that plan and they just go in. Whereas in the previous game, it was sort of Spirit Breaker charges, then the dilly-dallying, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we should. Going back and forth and hesitating a lot. There is no hesitation here from NME. There are mistakes. There are little glitches in the plan, little flaws. Like this one down the bot where BSG BKB's up and turns. Maybe not a flaw after all as he pops his ultimate. And Limp looking for the toss back. He's got Blink in a second. He'll jump himself forward, get the thwacks down with the BSJ, but the team is behind him, backing back into the wall. Tiny's caught, and Z-Freak is as well. And BSJ, oh, Chessie jumps in. The grave is there, and the BSJ trying to run, but Laguna Blade takes down Limp, and on the front side is Sovereign. Damage output's good, and BSJ is finished off finally. Initiation, counter initiation. Now onto Loomdon as Complexity, they lost their Tiny. But damage output is still just flowing freely through them all. Whoa, Slayer. Double kill on the back, gets the Ogre. And now wants the TP away. Blink available in a second, but the Urn cancels it out. Will the damage be there from Hanskin? Barely, no!
Oh.
Back into the fountain. Goes Slayer.
Trouble. Up.
Ooh. Not over. Sovereign.
Oh!
Clenching his butt cheeks right now as that Ice Path very nearly killed him.
Tessie after that LSA. Barely able to blink, but that fight was all on Swindles. He made a sick play. When they came in with that snowball, he managed to just sneak off a blink and went deeper into the enemy team, knowing they were all going to move forward. Got some nice control on the BSJ, as well as some of the other heroes there, using some Ice Paths, some Macro Fires right on the back line. He completely saved that. That was looking like a disaster. Like, if he got stuck inside that Ice Shards as well, it would have been, I'm pretty sure, a 3-man LSA from Slayer into the Dragon Slave as well. So, huge plays by Swindles. Like, really quick reactions.
Frozen, what are you heading into? Still got Greaves on the docks here. But I guess Vlad's on the Tusk isn't going to be bad here. You don't have one on Ursa, you went for the Helm of the Dominator, go for Vlad's Tusk. Still got these ways to keep going through the fights. Lina, for Aether Lens, and BOTs. To travel.
Either that or even just getting a Yules, I think is actually still good because, like you said, with the Aether Lens, like every item just gets so much better. But we'll see what she wants to snag up. I really like the Shiva's Guide coming out here. Sovereign, obviously. Not really going to be much of a Lotus Orb game or anything like that, so he'll pick that up here. And now, though, the Ghost Scepters are coming out here, so I wonder if Diffusal Blade will be on the mind here for BSJ. He might still be wanting a little bit of control from a Skull Basher of sorts. His Limp, he's trying to do some cheeky things.
Well, I'm looking towards the rush bit, man. BSJ's in there. SC has already gone in to start the fight off, as now they look for the stuns forward. Ice Path on top, he's stunned up, held in place. BSJ dropping low, pops the BKB. But Limp is here with a grave over onto this Ursa. They'll keep him alive for now. But Chessie's positioning just so damn good. Limp jumps forward, shredded out by the Laguna Blade, but healing up through it all. Toss forward, and there we go. Ursa down, Frozen follows. And Sovereign, even with the great vacuum wall you had, running away and hiding. Loomdon. Limp can't blink. But it's going to be Complexity who get the Roshan this time. Not the Ursa.
Great global movement there coming in from Complexity. Able to drop both heroes up top. Maybe a mistake on enemy's part, not just sending a single hero, or someone who, like you said, might have a boost of travel or something like that. And instead it will be that Yules. But the issue is, like, they split them. They had 3 heroes and suddenly think, okay, later, and we're going to relocate into the fight. It's a 5-on-3, and BSJ just got manhandled.
The Aghanims has been great for Lina, I've got to say. Like, we didn't expect the Aghs kind of rush from Lina, but it's been really good at focusing down Limp. Yeah, he hasn't died in the previous fight, but a couple of other engagements, it's been that kind of deal breaker where Limp just gets dropped, you know, from 3/4 down to 1/3 of his HP. And then if the Ursa can get onto that target and finish him off, it's going to set the pace for NME in a couple of these engagements, but it's going to be mid-rack.
Tiny.
God. Like, there were buildings there a second ago. Now there's just nothing.
He's so amazing right now because not only is he extremely powerful as a nuker and a ganker and all this stuff in the early game, and also anytime past, what, 25, 30 minutes, if you lose a fight anywhere near your base, it's gone. Like, you just lose a set of racks. That's just it. And they're going to smoke up, hoping they're going to think they backed, and going to try and get a quick kill here to end this game. We'll see if they're going to be lucky. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, the counter smoke!
NME. They're going to walk into each other. There's Vision up here, Radiant Observer on the high ground towards the top lane. Complexity. You think that they're all hiding in their base? They'll wander themselves towards the mid-ramp. NME, what are you doing? both teams are just going to wander themselves around and not actually land into each other. Now Swindles gives himself away towards middle lane, and NME, Smoke, how much do we have left on it? 7 or 8 seconds? Is this enough? Doesn't look like it. They'll move towards top. The creeps will enter the base at mid. They'll get the tier
It's gonna
3
be
at top.
really bad. How many TPs do they have? They have everyone. Everyone's good to go. Look at a lot of damage down immediately though.
Tier 3's gone.
No cliff.
100%. Just decimated.
Yeah, you can't let the creeps get in like that.
Stay on to limp. Blinks forward though as Chessie. He sees Loom done in his sights, but the vacuum back only onto one. Hanskin. Cheese has popped. He's healing himself up, but now he's taken out. BSJ did get onto a target and clears him up, but look at where Slayer's standing. They've put themselves in such a precarious position that the buyback and relocate in from Hanskin keeps Tiny alive. He blinks forward, and now he sees the dazzle. Ice path onto 3 there from
Nice.
Swindles, allowing Limp to turn and fight again. They get the crit hit back onto from Chessie onto Dazzle, and BSJ surge, but the damage output's not good enough. Ursa, your teddy bear picnic is over. Forest belongs to Complexity. GG is called an enemy, and they lose 2-0 here. But Complexity, honestly, game 2 was a lot closer than game number 1.
Well, even Smokey the Bear can't prevent macro pyres. We learned. And yeah, you're right though, it was a lot closer. So they really pulled it quite a bit together. The laning stage went significantly better for NME. Obviously, the first 5 minutes or so didn't go too bad. But no, well played the Complexity again. I think just a little bit overall better game plan. Struggled a little bit with the relocate stuff, but